Okay. Ito na naman kami, the news team. And yung mga suki natin abroad, yung mga kasangga natin at kadugo natin at kapamilya abroad. Jing Reyes from San Francisco, Henry Umaga Diaz from Canada, and Sas Julon from
Batangas.
Undisclosed location.
Parang si Patidokan to. Undisclosed place.
Siyempre, sa Danny Bonafé and Zachary Villa, ako naman po si Jing Saysay. Pag-uusapan po namin, ang ABS-CBN, kung hindi nyo alam, yung sa Mother Ignacia, tsaka Sergeant Esguerra, tsaka Lopez Drive. Gigibain na ho yung old building. Dalawa yung malaking building doon. Yung nasa harap, yung 3 floors, may penthouse. Yung nasa likod, yung floors ba yun? 18? 15 floors? Di ko alam.
18 yata.
Yung ELJ Center. Pero gigibain yung old building, yung nasa harap, yung mababa, kasama yung tower. Dahil nabili na ng Ayala at gagawin, hindi ko alam kung anong gagawin. Baka kayo alam nyo.
Commercial, or residential, commercial combined.
Yun naman, dapat kasi kailangan nilang pagsamantalahan yung value ng land, di ba? Kasi kung pagsamantalahan nila ng mga developers, so tataas yan. Di ba?
Value, pati yung surrounding area.
Pati tataas yung building kasi they need to put more business into it to make it earn more. Kasi mahal na yung tax ng lupa na yun.
Prime property, di ba?
Okay. But we're not here to talk about kung we're here to talk about kung ano yung gigibayin. Kasi yung gigibayin nila is they're pouring concrete on a part of me. What song is that?
Tsaka significant sa atin lahat, di ba?
On a part of me.
Okay.
Dennis Lambert. Ashes to Ashes.
Dance to dust.
I remember that song.
Diba? So gigibain. And with it are the memories of everyone in this group. Ang daming memories. Pinamadaming memories, Jing Reyes, kasi sabi ng matagal na.
Oo, tama. Nung nirestore yun, di ba?
Sorry, Jing, kasi ikaw pala, hindi talaga eh.
And how you, di ba? Siyempre, mas marami
dapat ang spill ko rin. Eto na naman ako.
Ikaw na naman ang una.
I was about to say.
So kung meron kang eto na naman kami, ako rin naman nasasabi ko, eto na naman po ako. Ako na naman ang unang mag-reminisce at mag-anungkat sa mga baul ng ating alaala. No?
But how do you feel, Jing? How do you feel about this? Nagigibayin na ang ABS-CBN.
Can I interrupt because I was in that building even before ABS.
MBS, di ba? MBS.
MBS4.
Tama. Sila just matuwis.
At naalala nyo nung sinishare pa yung building premises between 4 and 2?
Tama. I remember that.
Wait, hold on. Magkalinawan tayo further. That old building was PTV4 before the resurrected ABS-CBN. But before PTV4, it was ABS-CBN. It was originally ABS-CBN. And then in martial law, when Marcos declared martial law, kinuha niya yung ABS-CBN.
So ilang taon na ba yung building na yun?
Matagal na.
Ilang taon na?
There's a historical marker when you enter the building. There's a historical marker on the left side, which is a point I'd like to make. Sana yung wall, nakakabit sa wall sa left side, di ba? Sana lang, may makaisip na yung wall na yun, huwag gibain, kahit yung kapirasong yun lang. And make it a part of whatever they're going to...
Attention, Ayala developers.
Oo nga eh.
Maaari na, pati yung tower eh.
Yung tower, pwedeng gawing museum, yung first level, tsaka second level.
Di ba, remember yung
attraction pa siya.
Tower na, di ba, may mga restaurants sa kasi, di ba, na pwedeng gamitin na symbolic, di ba, na somehow part of history.
Pero sound pa ba yung structure niyo? Matagal na rin yung tower na yun eh, di ba?
Yeah, well, they have to check it, of course.
It was the tower was improved and enhanced. And remember, they made it even more powerful sometime in the 90s. Kaya naging Millennium Tower yan.
You know, for the longest time, it was the highest tower in the entire country. It's 636 feet tall.
No, sayang.
63 floors.
And if they're gonna demolish it, how are they gonna do it? Are you privy kung ano yung plano?
Top to down. Bolt by bolt.
Wala.
Oh.
Top to down, bolt.
So matagal din. Matagal yung proseso.
Matagal din.
Yun yung gusto ni Kapitan Bridges on air. Di ba yung talagang nagtatransmit tayo all over the world?
Ano, sis?
Sana parang no? Yung Berlin Mall, pwede tayong mag-uwi ng kapirasitong parte.
Why not? Baka pwede.
Parang bawat ng bakal sa tower. Hati-hatiin sa lahat ng alumni, no? Ng kapamilya. Pero di ba, ang maganda kasi, kaya puno ng history yung building na yan eh. Kaya talagang nakaranas siya ng martial law, the government forces, soldiers, the military seized the building when martial law was declared. It was parang taken over by the government, and then bumalik ang mga Lopez, nakuha nila uli kung ano yung kanilang pag-aari. And for a long time, we had to share that building with PTV4, as Cez said, because ang tagal pa nung negotiation para maibalik yung building talaga sa ABS-CBN, no? And so finally, we were so glad that in 1994 or 95, I think, nagsimula tayong lumipat na doon sa harap. We were able to acquire the entire building na, and that was when the News and Current Affairs Division moved to a bigger newsroom, which is what we see now. Sa totoo lang, nung bagong lipat tayo dyan, Cez, ang luwag-luwag niyan, I remember. Tapos ngayon, sa dami ng naging programa, ng naging platforms, naging napakasikip na. Remember that we would always joke that the newsroom is like a call center kasi yung mga cubicles sobrang dikit-dikit na. Diba? At marami rin siyang remodel. And for a time, it was the most modern broadcast building in Southeast Asia, ha? Parang kumuha ng mga consultants noon daw si Kapitan Henny Lopez to really make sure na state of the art yung building and the facilities.
Even the Japanese would come to visit.
Yes.
It was that advanced. Do you remember, Jing, nagkasunog pa nung share natin yung building?
I remember nung sunog, biglang may sumisigaw si Mami Norms, our makeup artist. May she rest in peace. Sabi niya, may sunog, lumabas na kayo. Siyempre, natakot tayo na may sunog. Sabi, biglang, oh my God, i-save natin yung mga tapes, i-save natin yung mga gamit, yung mga camera. So, takbuhan kami. Kasi gabi na yun eh. Takbuhan kami, pumunta kami sa ating mezzanine. Remember our mezzanine? Yeah. Nandun yung mga Umatic tapes na malalaki. Tsaka yung mga
machines. Nasa 4 pa ako noon. Hindi pa ako lumilipat.
Umpisa ang sunog, Cez.
Yes.
Yeah. Anyway, ang nakakatawa, so nailabas namin lahat ng gamit. Nung humupa na ang sunog at sinabing, oh, okay, it's safe to go back into the building. Hindi namin mabalik yung mga camera, yung mga machines. Hirap na kaming ibalik sa newsroom noon. Pero bukod sa sunog, yung mga coup attempt. Remember the coup d'etats that always targeted the station?
Alam mo, nabalita sa akin ni CLK. I didn't go to that. Di ba nagkaroon ng ceremony where Gabby made a speech?
Yeah.
Na cameo ako sa speech niya. Na nasabi niya, parang, I saw Cez Drilon warding off the tanks in front of ABS-CBN. Hindi naman warding off, pero I remember at time na hindi tayo allowed. Tapos pinapasok ako si Red Kapunan nagbigay ng interview. Siya yung nakaupo sa chairman's office. Kasi di ba ang laging pinupunteriya ng tuwing may coup,
Ang rebel
they want to take over the media facilities. Oo.
Nabanggit mo si Colonel Red Capuna. Naalala ko nung days after yung EDSA Revolt 1980, di ba, na-cover namin yun. Radyo Veritas pa ako doon. Nagkakagulo dyan sa compound, sa Channel 4 noon. So tinawag kami ng tanong sila, Veritas
ka pa. Veritas ka pa.
Taas kami ng kamay. So pinasok namin yung lobby nung kung saan tayo ngayon, yung Heritage Building. May mga loyalist pa dyan ng mga sundalo. Of course, nauna sila Red Capunan. May kasama kami pare, si Father Efren Dato.
Yes.
Pagpasok ni Father Efren, may biglang nagpuputok, papak. Napa si Father Efren, tinamaan ako. Hinila ng sundalo. Father, wala kayong tama. So after that, binigyan kami permission. Proud to say na kami ni Tito Cruz at that time, naalala ko pa. So sabi, mag-broadcast kayo. So nag-broadcast kami sa Radyo ng Bayan. Sabi namin, napasok na po ng RAM itong Channel 4 at na-take over itong facility. So yun ang siguro part ng history kung paano pa rin nabawi yung Channel 4, yung compound na yun. At kalaunan nga nakabalik sa ABS-CBN.
Alam mo, I remember that day. I was dressing up to go to work. Buntis na ako noon. Tapos, nanonood ako ng live broadcast from Malacanang, President Marcos, the father of our current president, and Ver.
Oo.
Sila. Parang sinasabi,
just give the order. Just give the order, Mr. President.
Yeah, just give the order. Tapos, nag-snow. Nawala
yung signal ng PTV.
Nawala ang signal. Tapos, kayo na yun, Henry, yung pagpasok ng pagsalakay ng RAM. Yun. I was dressing up. I lived in an apartment in UP Village. Tapos sabi ko, nag-iisip nga ako, sana nandun ako, pero buti na rin hindi. Hindi ko alam kung, di ba, kung ano yung feelings ko. Mick, you want to be siyempre in the center.
So that was 1986.
Yes.
Dahil nagtagumpay ang kudeta noong 1986, ay tinawag siyang People Power Revolution. Kasi nga, sumama yung mga tao, sumama yung iba't ibang sektor ng lipunan natin.
And that's why, di ba Henry, kaya Sergeant Esguerra Avenue kasi siya ang lone fatality. Tama?
For 1987.
Pero hindi yung 1986.
Hindi ba yung 86?
No. Gasabel.
Yun yung loyalist.
Yung una yun na chorus time.
Pero naalala ko si Sergeant Esguerra was shot while defending the compound against rebel soldiers in the 1987 coup during chorus time. Yeah.
But when you say rebel soldiers naman at this time, they were termed loyal, Marcos loyalist, di ba?
Yes. At nung nakapasok na kami dun sa compound, nag-gather na yung tao sa labas eh. Alam mo, sinisigaw ng tao, pinapalabas, dahil nga Channel 4, pinapalabas okay lang siguro sabihin ko yung pangalan, si Ronnie Nathaniels. They wanted, talagang, buti na lang, wala si Ronnie noon, noong mga panahon yun. Pero, alam mo naman, yung Ronnie Nathaniels, yung interview kay Ninoy Aquino, yung mga ganon. So, galit yung mga tao noon, noong mga panahon yun. So, yung pangalan niya, Ronnie Nathaniel, silabas niya.
Parang siya yung naging figure na mouthpiece ni Marcos.
Yes.
Okay,
I want to talk about the legacy project of Sedi Vargas that is unfinished. Sayang kasi, ang dami namin na interview on the history of ABS-CBN. And even before us, there was ABS-CBN already.
Oh, wow.
No? Kasi nga, ilang taon na ba ang ABS-CBN? 75 years, no? So, nag-umpisa ang ABS-CBN, anong year? Pero 50 television sets pa lang daw, sabi ni Orly Mercado. Henny Lopez and Jake Almeida Lopez were brave enough to invest on a tower, on a facility to serve these 50 television sets in Manila at the time. Biro mo, pioneering talaga ang ABS-CBN. So, nung ginagawa namin yung Legacy Project kasi, in-interview namin ang mga dati, like sila Orly Mercado, dating reporter yan, na naging senator.
Radyo Patrol.
Radyo Patrol, sila yan. Tapos, ang mga dinaanan naman nila. Yeah. Ang mga dinaanan, si Bu, Chanko, ang dinaanan nila were Ruby Tower, earthquake, marami rin. Taal eruption, they were talking to me about this, na how ABS-CBN was in the forefront parate of all these major events in the Philippines, in the major coverages in the Philippines, until they were shut down. Nung panahon ni Ferdinand Marcos nung nag-declare ng martial law. Yeah. But even nung nagsarado ang ABS-CBN, you know what ABS-CBN did to its employees? Binayaran pa rin nila yung sweldo.
Continued paying them.
Yeah.
Binayaran nila yung sweldo for 3 months hanggang makahanap ng ibang trabaho yung mga empleyado. Yun yung...
So si Henny yan? Nagbayad?
Yes! Yan yung storya. Yan yung storya noon nung mga na-interview namin para dun sa legacy project ni Sedi Vargas. Sayang nga hindi natapos. Pero pag
I wonder where those tapes are, Chari.
I think it's still with us. Kaya lang walang nagpo-produce kasi Sedi told me, Chari, we have to abandon the project kasi wala nang budget. But sana, sabi ko sana, ang ganda. We interviewed you, Ses. We interviewed you, Jing. Di ba we interviewed you? And I remember, Jing Reyes, ang sabi mo sa akin, ang gusto mong legacy is to be able to turn over the news organization of ABS-CBN to an able head. Ibig sabihin, hindi mo ba inaakalang magsasara? But technically, hindi pa naman sarado di ba?
Hindi, tuloy naman. Yung building lang, yung mga structure that we're all part of, di ba?
Di naman tayo totally nagsara, but our broadcast, our
nag-evolve na yung
free-to-air broadcast, yun ang nagsara. At dahil nawala yun, lumiit ang ating negosyo na nawala ang major source natin ng revenue, lumiit ang mga budget. Kaya nag-suffer din ang news and current affairs because kita mo, nawalan tayo ng mga news and current affairs programs, nabawasan ng investigative reporting, hindi na yata halos nakakagawa. Yung mga gano'n, mga medyo madaming resources ang kailangan para gawin, para i-produce.
So, wala ng morning show.
Pero sabi nga ni Attorney Jake Almeida Lopez, when I talked to Attorney Jake Almeida Lopez for the Legacy Project, he didn't want to be interviewed on cam. Sabi niya, I'm not a hero for ABS. I'm just one of those who helped build ABS because ABS-CBN is its people. Tayo. So sabi niya, don't glorify me. Just read the book. It's called Phoenix. Because it will rise again. Sabi niya, ABS-CBN always rises from the ashes. Because sabi niya, it mirrors the Filipino spirit. Yeah, you have to read it because sabi niya, it mirrors the Filipino spirit. ABS-CBN only mirrors the Filipino spirit and help build the culture, gano'n. ABS-CBN really is an institution for Filipinos, kaya hindi mawawala na yan.
Kaya nga, even if we lost the franchise ngayon nga because of the digital transformation, nag-evolve. Ito nga, ABS pa rin talagang nandyan. Ibig sabihin, ang dami pa rin loyal audience wherever you go. They're always proud na maging associate, di ba, sa ABS-CBN.
Ito na nga.
Ito lang, mawawala yung tower.
July 29, nag-umpisa lang sa 5 tao.
But you know, nung nawala yung broadcast ng ABS-CBN, because ABS-CBN at the time when it was closed was the largest network in terms of reach. No? So ang daming nawalan ng information sa Pilipinas. No? Of course, the people who So the people who shut it down, the politicians who shut it down, did not realize that they were cutting the information lifeline for many Filipinos. It's true the media landscape is changing and that media is becoming digital, no? Pero ABS-CBN was always the leader in terms of innovation and technology. Nung sinara ng ABS-CBN, naputol yung resources ng ABS-CBN. And no one else put in the money to innovate in the broadcast arena. So when the politicians shut down ABS-CBN, they killed the industry as well. And it's having a very difficult time recovering, especially now na digital na ang media, ang landscape ng media. So the media as we knew it, symbolized by the tower of ABS-CBN, yung terrestrial broadcasting, wala na yun sa Pilipinas. It will never recover because we're already at the digital cusp of the media landscape.
Pero ang hinahanap ngayon, Jing, that's why I believe that ABS-CBN is still there and it will rise because ang hinahanap ngayon is credibility ng mga tao.
Of course.
Ngayon, ang daming fake news, AI-generated videos, hindi mo na, can you tell now which is an AI-generated video?
Meron hindi, meron.
Pero pag pumunta ka sa ABS-CBN, alam mo, totoo yung storya.
Yes.
Di ba? Pag pumunta ka ng ABS-CBNnews.com, alam mo, verified yan, totoo yan.
Of course, there will be people who will say that's not true. There will be people who will always say ABS-CBN has an agenda.
Bias. Bias.
But in our next podcast, we're going to talk about that because we're going to talk about content creation and fake news and etc. Oh, Jing and Cez are back.
Let's talk about the memories nga.
What are memories?
ABS-CBN because, di ba?
You know, wait, you were talking about the newsroom kanina na iba na, no? Naalala nyo ba yung newsroom natin na bago dati? Yung mga tables, bilog lahat. Do you remember that?
Hindi.
Bilog lahat yung tables ngayon. Cubicle na eh. Dati bilog-bilog.
Pero may ganon sa dulo. Yeah.
Diba? Those were the original tables.
Dati, Apple boxes.
Old na newsroom?
Hindi. Yung bagong newsroom. The original.
Basta yung bagong newsroom, alam ko, boss natin no si Dong Puno. Diba? Dong Puno, diba?
Dong Puno in the new newsroom?
Oo, diba? Siya yung lumipat na.
Sabi niya
ang boss natin, Jing.
Kung maaalala nyo, ano ang pinakamahirap nyong coverage? Yun na lang. Ano ang pinakamahirap mong coverage, Cez?
Ay, nakidnap siya.
Ha?
Ano ang pinakamahirap mong coverage?
Siyempre. Pero madami.
Ano pinakamahirap?
Mahihirap.
Pinaka.
Eh di nung nakidnap nga ako, natural.
Ganyan talaga.
Alam mo, Cez, isa pang memorable coverage mo, yung na-witness nyo ni Rudy Yagumyum, yung shooting ni Joe Pring sa Kalye.
Grabe yun. Sabi ko nga, oh my God, hindi ko akalaing mayayapos ko si Rudy Yagumyum. Kasi akala ko mamamatay na talaga kami.
May rest in peace.
Imagine ang hinaya.
Ano ba nangyari nun? Paano nangyari nun?
Kwento mo, Cez, kasi nasa Kalye sila.
Oo, nasa kalsada kami, papunta kaming presko ng BSP ata o may kapihan. Basta maaga kami. Tapos dumaan kami yung kalyeng Santa Mesa papuntang Malacanang. Magsaysay ba yung pangalan ng ang traffic. Tapos may mga nakita kong mga armado na nagtatakbuhan papunta sa amin. Galing sa harap ng traffic. Bumper to bumper. Tapos bigla na lang nagputukan. Siyempre, ang instinct ko nung una, sabi ko, Rudy, bumaba ka! Pero ako, bumaba ako sa floor ng sasakyan. Siyempre, baka matamaan ako eh. Pero si Rudy, sabi ko, baba ka! Tapos, tinimbre ko kaagad kay Pal.
Pal Marquez.
Radyo, using our handheld radios.
Sa radyo. Pero meron na tayong phone nun, may pixel. Yung malaking cellphone ba? Meron na.
Satellite phone.
Cellphone na may band.
Tapos mayat-maya, may narinig na lang akong boses na akin na yung camera. Amin na yung camera. Ibibigay mo sa akin yung camera. Sabi ko, siya, ano nangyari? Tapos parang ang tagal. It seemed like an eternity. Bago binigay ni Rudy yung ano. Kasi, di ba noon may battery belt pa. Ang bigat. Nakakabit sa battery belt yung kanyang camera. So, ang tagal niyang binabakla.
Sundalo?
Ibigay mo na. Kasi,
kasi pwede siyang mamatay.
Kasi pala, matagal nga niyang tanggalin sa battery belt. Tapos nung binigay yung camera, biglang pumutok yung baril dahil hindi akalain ng gunman na ganun kabigat ang camera. Kasi na-interview ko yung gunman later on Akala ko babarilin kami. Kasi nakarinig ako ng putok talaga. Doon na ako umakyat kasi isipon ako kung sakali tatamaan ang puwet ko, hindi ko man malaman kung anong nangyayari. Nakadapa nga ako sa sasakyan
So apparently ABB yun? ABB?
Oo!
ABB.
Sparrow!
ABB. Tapos, di kinuha na yung camera.
ABB is Alex Bombeo.
Nag-usisa na kami. Anong nangyayari, di ba? Anong nangyayari? Tapos nakita ko na si Joe Pring, duguan. I cannot forget. And I was wishing that my eyes were a camera. Kasi wala kang cellphone.
Walang documentation.
Drawing.
Camera. I felt so helpless actually. Parang, what? We don't even have video. Tapos nagdating na yung mga ibang network, 7, 4, lahat na. Nung pagdating sa ospital ata, kasi ginamit pa yung sasakyan natin
Gano'n kayo kalayo? Yung sasakyan nyo, gano'n kalayo?
Siguro mga 3 kotse lang. 3 kotse lang. Nakita ko meron siyang hawak na parang mineral water na bote. Nakita ko yung dugo. Maraming alahaw. Yun yung memory ko because nung dinala sa parang De Ocampo Hospital, yung kanto ng papuntang Malacanang. Parang medyo bundok konti ng alahas yung kinuha sa kanya ng mga nurse. I guess that's the first thing you get if you're trying to resuscitate siguro. I don't know. But yeah. So, nag-report ako kay Mel and J. Kay Mel and J ako nag-report sa MM. Yun.
Na-recover ba yun?
Patakbo ako sa kotse. Patakbo ako sa kotse. Wala na.
Hindi. Na-identify ba yung grupo na yun, Sis? Yung kumuha pa.
He was dead.
Pero may
And you know what? I thought, because I saw one of the gunmen Because di ba sabi ko, tapos sabi ko parang wag niyo siyang barilin or something because I heard a gunshot. And then, my memory was lost when they showed me all these pictures. Hindi pa kaya pala brazen yung ganun kabilis at daylight because you won't remember. You won't remember the face.
Ganun.
I could not remember. They were showing me NBI was showing me photos. Naku.
Naalala ko may mga nagko-comment pa noon na alam ni Steph Trillo niyan.
Oo nga, nakatimbre. Oo, exactly. Paano naman? Oo, may ganon. Kahit ganon, may fake news na, nung panahon na yun. Online.
Propaganda.
Yeah.
Henry, ikaw, ano ang most memorable coverage mo?
Ako, marami. Yung sa Palawan, yung sa Iraq. Yung sa Iraq, may talagang ilang beses na kami.
Palawan, Laguna?
Yeah,
Mama Mary?
Ni Benrus Pascual.
Iraq.
Doon ay monte kaming mabugbog ng mga Iraqis. Dahil may ni-interview akong Iraqi, biglang pinan ni Benrus sa iba yung camera. Nagalit yung Iraqi na insulto. Tapos ayan na, nagsisimula ng siguro yung mga kasama niya, meron ng yung chain na belt. Sabi ko, Ben, balik.
Wow.
So, from where are you? Where? Philippines. Philippinen. So, yun lang. Okay sila sa Pilipino. Filipinen. Okay, Filipinen. Tapos, habang nagbiyahe kami from Jordan to Baghdad, 600 kilometers yun Pero, dire-diretso lang yun. nandun na yung nakikita mo yung mga sunog na tangke. Earlier kasi binomba ng mga Amerikano yung mga tangke ng mga Iraqi. So pagdating doon sa mismong Baghdad, may nakakalakas ko, isang grupo ng mga kabataan. Kala namin welcome sa kanila yun. Wina-welcome kami. Maya-maya, doon na sa convoy nakatutok yung baril. So, yung mga ganon. Pero, matutuwa ka rin kahit paano dahil part ng history. Alam mo yun, yung world history na bahagi ka, na witness mo talaga yung kung ano nangyari, nandun ka sa gitna, nangyayari, na-feel, naramdaman mo, nakita mo at naibahagi mo sa sambayanan.
Mahirap ang pinakamahirap na coverage yung nasa ibang bansa kasi syempre wala kayo-kayo lang, 'di ba? You just rely on your team. Pag conflict, 'di ba?
Ito nakakatuwa, sis. Nakakatuwa. From Baghdad from Jordan to Baghdad, convoy yan eh. Ang dami namin. May CNN, may BBC, Indonesian, Italian. Naghihintay lahat sa Jordan bago payagan makapasok eh. So, kalagitnaan may mga butas yung mga kalsada kasi kabubomba nga lang. So naglabasan, nag-meeting yung mga journalist. Makikita mo CNN, naka-Kevlar, naka-vest, naka-satellite, BBC, ganun din. Kami, pagbaba namin sa sakyan namin, naka-jacket.
At chinelas.
Kawawa tayo. Pero, yung mga ganong experience.
Ikaw, Danny, ano yung pinaka-memorable mong coverage?
Sabi rin nga ni Henry at ni Ces, di ba? Karamihan memorable sa akin yung mga foreign assignments. Di ba? Yung Iraq, di ba? Henry, yung kidnap si Angelo de la Cruz, 2004, grabe yun kasi talagang, di ba, he was abducted by yung Sarkawi group, yung mga Al-Qaeda, no? So, pag lumalabas kami nung kasi, we have to go parang Reuters to get a window para makapag-live sa TV Patrol.
Tama.
And whenever we go out, doon sa mismong Philippine Embassy, lagi kami sinasabihan nila, Ambassador Segis, Dan, saan kayo pupunta? Sabi ko, kailangan namin makapag-live. Pag kayo nakita, mas malaki problema natin, yung mga gano'n na, di ba? Pero we have to take the risk. Bibiyahe kami ni Val Cuenca, pero laging may presence of Piper kami ni Val. Kahit na dumadaan kami sa mga checkpoint, sabi ko, Val, naka-on ang camera, naka-on, pero hindi nahahalata ng mga check yung gamit. Once we go to the area na kung saan kami mag-pipid na nung kunwari, 10 minutes ang binigay sa amin for patrol, di siyempre si Corina ang angkor. Tatanungin, yan, saan yung mga video yan? Tine-checkpoint kayo. Sabi niya, at least si Val, nakabukas yung camera, naka-capture namin, nado-document namin lahat yun. So yun yung mga risk na somehow, di ba, when you recall, ginawa, di ba? Pero at least, you were able to tell the story, yung mga ganon. Tapos yung isa pang...
Naalala ko nung nandun na, nakuha na si De La Cruz, di ba? Nandun si... sino ba? Secretary na ba noon o ambassador?
Si Simato, di ba?
Si Simato at saka yung isa pa.
Di ba? Ni GMA.
Nagmi-meeting sila sa isang room doon. Ayaw nila magpapasabi. Sabi, meeting muna. Wala munang media. Si Danny hindi nakatiis. Pinasok yung meeting. Ni-live si De La Cruz. Hindi nakapalag sila ambassador.
Nako, ginawa rin yan sa akin ni Charin. Talaga. Nag-promise ako na hindi i-air. Kakausapin ko lang si Father, yung nakidnap. Yung Italian priest, Chari. Pabali. Hindi Pabali. Iba yung Pabali. Yun yung kinain yung brains niya, di ba?
Tapos
naalala mo, Chari, yung nakidnap sa Zamboanga si Bugay, tapos nag-live tayo sa Zamboanga.
Yun ba yung kinain?
Hindi ba pwede? Pero sabi ko, basta!
Oo, binukon mo na, ikaw talaga.
Hindi, ito nga.
Napagalitan ako, pero na-scoop tayo.
Ang memorable sa akin, hindi yung mga field sa loob ng newsroom.
Bakit?
Yung tungkol nga doon sa mga Middle East, mga coverages. isa rin kasi yung Gaza, I was able to cover din yung Gaza, yung naiipit yung mga caregivers natin. Somehow, nandun ako, nakita ko yung talagang yung dilemma, yung hardships na they have to go through. Tapos nakaka-relate ako dahil, di ba lately yung Iran at saka Israel, di ba yun din ang mga ini-interview, same din yung mga ini-intercept. Na iba pag may parating na bomba, at least na nare-recover ng Israel. Pag nasa Israel ka, parang feeling mo kasi may Iron Dome na safe ka. Unlike siguro sa Iran, na somehow na-absorb lahat yung mga bombahan. Ganun, kami nila Valden, at least na yung mga ganun experience na if I have to go back, yung parang gano'n, hindi mo na talaga gagawin dahil kasi noon parang gusto mo yung piece of the action, di ba? Tapos yung isa ring coverage na gusto ko i-share kasi si Chari muna yung kumover kay Imelda, and then sinabi sa akin ni Angelo, ikaw natatapos, pumunta ka doon, and I was only 4 months pa lang ako sa Justice Beat. Bago lang ako sa ABS-CBN. And then sabi niya, ikaw tatapos sila doon kay Imelda. So I was there for about a month. And then yung verdict sa kanya when she was cleared of the racketeering charge, on the day of her birthday, 61st birthday ni Imelda, biro mo, imagine mo si Imelda ngayon, 96. So at that time, 61 lang siya noong 1990. Pero nung na-clear. And we were, the first happy si Angelo sa coverage namin.
Naalala ba yung coverage mo na yun, Danny?
Sinigili ko ng cameraman ko.
Ang sign nun ng ABS-CBN noon, alas 6 ng umaga. Tama-tama, kalalabas lang ng decision.
Actually, 2 o'clock in the morning, 3 o'clock lumabas. Sabi sa akin ni Butch Raquel, Dan, sabi niya, i-break na natin yung balita. Sabi ko, natutulog pa. Sabi niya, hindi, gigisingin ko.
Nasa control room kami, alas 6 ng umaga. Tinitignan namin yung GMA doon sa monitor. Unahan kami sa national anthem. Kasi nga, magla-live si Danny, galing New York.
Kaya memorable yung lahat kasi naisip ko. Tapos, pagbalik ko sa Manila, that was July 13, Friday, tinawagan ako ni Becky Cabral. Sabi ni Becky, Dan, happy yung top management sa coverage mo sa Imelda trial. Sabi niya, baka magbigay yata ng a little something na party on Monday. Monday pare was July 16. Nag-earthquake naman. Diba? Ang nangyari, pinapunta, ikaw nagpapunta sa akin sa Baguio. Kasama ko na sila Chari, tsaka sila Ses. Hindi ako nakauwi pa nga ng bahay. Yung pa naman kapapanganak pa lang nung una ko si Jericho, hindi pa nga nabibinyaga, kaya galit na galit ang wife ko. Dahil nga, dahil amoy formalin pa, yung pa sinasabi ko sa interview, yung mga gano'n. So, ibig sabihin, yung mga gano'ng memorable na somehow, di ba, you can connect dun sa mga, kaya malaking bagay yung early parang ng part ng aking association with ABS-CBN.
Kaya later on, yung mga reporters na nag-a-apply kung saan ako, yung sa networks na pinagtrabahoan ko, ang tinatanong ko sa kanila, kayo ba kaya nyo itong pag-reporter na gusto nyo pasukin? Yeah. Kasi kauwi nyo pa lang o hindi pa kayo umuwi, palalabasin na naman namin kayo. Kaya nyo ba? This is not a glamorous life.
Alam mo nung time na yon, buntis ako.
1990s?
That would have been my coverage, except I was pregnant.
Hi, sis. That's why I was deployed. Sa Baguio.
Marami tayo, pati si Vic Lima he was there also sa Baguio. At saka nawala tayong live capability.
Doon sa earthquake, first thing out was
I remember nung
at saka nauna yung mga ganun.
Tayo rin ang unang nag-break nung damage sa earthquake sa Baguio, di ba, Chad?
Yes.
Tapos, nahihirapan kang mag-package ng mga reports mo kasi ang dami mong pinupuntahan. Since buntis ako, nasa newsroom,
freeze kasi ayaw sabihin yung sasabihin niya. Siya nagsusulat ng mga script ko.
At that time, by bus pa, transport yung mga tapes by bus. Kasi walang ibang way.
Yun nga.
Imagine how we covered before.
I know. Yun nga yung memorable sa akin. Marami tayong kinover kudeta. Diba? Parang pinatubo o stage taking. Tapos, pag nangyayari yun, akala mo ikaw na yung sentro ng buong mundo kasi ikaw nagko-cover doon, akala mo yun yung top story. So ilalaban mo yun, sa newsroom na unahin nyo to! Ito ang pinaka-importante! Diba? So, alam nyo,
makaaway mong ipi, diba?
Tuwa ako nung nasa labas ako eh. Kasi ang trabaho ko yun. Pero nung pumunta ako sa loob ng newsroom para i-traffic lahat ng mga storya nyo, na feeling ninyo, yun ang pinaka-importante.
Mahirap naman kasi
mahirap mag-traffic din. Oo, mahirap din sa loob. I have to explain na when you traffic the stories, when you try to allot resources to a particular event, mahirap din yun. Sa akin
we should devote an entire episode to what happens in one day inside the newsroom.
Yeah, tama.
And how the news is made.
Yeah, maraming
what made ABS-CBN stand out, it really gave us the resources. Like Chari was on a chopper right away to go to Baguio. And then from the air, may aerial shots ka na agad ng mga damage. Mabilis. Yeah. Because we were supporting.
But not all the time. Kasi may mga stories na hindi ikaw ang priority. Yun na nga ang problema, di ba? When you have to decide, saan ko papadala tong helicopter? Or yung SNG? Or yung wala kang camera muna, Cesar. Kumuha ka ng notes mo. Wala kang cameraman dahil we have to deploy your camera to another. Yeah. Yan yung memorable sa akin kasi nahirapan ako. Nahirapan ako mag-manage. Diba, Jing? Ang hirap mag-manage ng news operations. Jing Magsaysay and Jing Reyes. Yeah. And Danny, how difficult it was to manage.
And you have not only that, you're not managing coverages only, you're also managing personalities.
Personalities and egos. Oh my God!
From the drivers to the anchors.
Pero doon mo na-realize yung time na yun, napaka-supportive sa atin ni Atty. Jake Lopez.
Oh yeah.
Kasi parang priority niya lagi yung news developments. Di ba? Lagi pumunta siya sa Baguio with Tits Danyaga, di ba? Nandoon ka mga resources na kailangan natin. Binibigay yun.
Wait, just to clarify, Atty. Jake Lopez, Vice Chairman,
I remember your memorable coverage.
Not related.
Airplane crash sa Baguio, that was so memorable also. You were the only one there, right?
Yung autonomous, the election for the autonomous.
No, yung plane crash.
Plane crash? Yeah.
Yeah, in Baguio.
Plane crash ba sa Baguio, Ses, o yung sa Cagayan?
Dalawa yun, Jing. The first was in Baguio in 1988.
Pero yung
Mount Ugu. That was the
commercial plane.
Philippine Airlines plane. Philippine Airlines. It was a big plane.
Lawakan Airport, doon nag-crash.
Naligaw yung plane and they crashed walang bagyo, but the clouds were low.
Yeah, always Lawakan is a problem for pilots.
Isa pang coverage mo, Jing Mag, na memorable for me was the Doña Paz tragedy.
Nako, grabe.
Yeah.
The biggest maritime disaster.
The biggest maritime disaster.
I remember.
1987.
Remember when we had so much sea tragedy?
Yeah.
Banggaan ng mga tanker.
When ABS-CBN reopened after the revolution, napansin nyo ba lahat ng balita na was squeezed into those 10 years after the revolution?
Oo, kudeta, disaster.
Ngayon, wala ng balita pa rin politics lang.
All the man-made and natural disasters you can think of.
Naalala mo yung Pagoda tragedy, di ba? Isa rin yun, di ba? Laki rin yun.
Pagoda tragedy, ang Pagoda tragedy sa Bulacan,
yung mga
may fluvial parade doon.
Di ba kumagsak yun?
Tinutungtungan ng mga tao. Ilang daan din namatay doon.
Grabe yun.
And Ormoc. Remember Ormoc?
Oo.
Pero, ang akin...
Rod Reyes na yung boss natin ng Ormoc.
Pero sa tragedies, no? Kasi...
Vivian Calvidea yun.
Yes, Vivian was covered. That was memorable.
Memorable because, yung mga taong victims, walang tumutulong, sakit. Ang sakit. It's painful, no? To witness yung kunyari biktima ng isang calamity. Tapos walang ginagawa yung gobyerno. Nakaupo lang sila dun sa gilid. Walang natatanggap na pagkain. Yes. Yun, mahirap sa akin tingnan yun.
You know what was so stark? The vision of people na parang binubulldoze na lang kasi sa dami ng mga namatay.
Sobrang dami
mga nanigas na corpses.
You know how we found out about Ormoc? It was may teletype tayo nun, di ba? Machine sa newsroom. Bigla may lumabas doon sa teletype machine, 10,000 dead in Ormoc. Sabi namin, what? This must be a typographical error.
It's true.
So tinawagan natin yung contact natin sa Ormoc, sa React Radio Group. And they confirmed.
Yeah.
Kaya nagpadala tayo. So we couldn't believe it, 10,000 dead.
Yeah.
Nakalagay doon, what? Unheard of.
Even
You need teletype pa tayo, no?
Teletype pa noon, teletype.
Even yung storm.
Wala pa bang
Ano
pasok?
ba, Yolanda ba yun?
Wala pa.
Ito lang yung mas recent, yung
We were
Yolanda.
seeing the old newsroom when Ormoc happened.
Yeah.
Yeah, old
Okay,
newsroom.
we should talk about that old newsroom when it rains, may mga timba-timba all over the place. That's the gaming.
Nagbaha sa set ng TV Patrol, do you remember? May waterfall sa likod ng set.
Yeah. Kaya
Yung lumang couch na yun, pare. Di ba? Tinutulugan natin.
And ang nag-a-address ng problema natin was a Lopez, Cari Lopez.
Yeah.
Anak ni Oscar Lopez. Kasi nababasa yung mga ENR natin. Di ba yung mga computer?
You know,
Becky, ba na Becky?
we talk about old newsroom, no? Yung mga tao hindi alam. Yung old newsroom ho namin, kasi laki na isang condominium lang ngayon, yung isang townhouse na 2 floors. Ganun lang yung newsroom.
Tsaka parang bodega. Our chairs were apple boxes. I'm not kidding. Parang mga wala kaming upuan.
Pero mo, nabubuo ang TV Patrol sa maliit na.
At saka allowed ang smoking.
Yes.
Sakit
Allowed
ka
ang smoking.
Maraming binitawang mura sa Jing Reyes sa old newsroom na yun.
Puro sunog ng
Ang
cigarette
sakit ng ulo ko. Narinig din ako pero nauunahan ako ni Dodi Alba.
Oh, man.
Tapos si Katang Inocencio, merong air filter dahil di siya naninigarilyo. Oh my God!
No, or remember when we had such a difficult time transitioning from typewriter to computer?
Computers. We had to learn.
Dali tayo sa ANR, no?
Hello, sis. Ikaw umiiyak ka. Sasabihin mo, Chari, ayaw ko tulungan ng mga anak ko. Ipapadala ko lang naman yung nirecord kong voice ko na sa bahay siya. Hindi siya makapunta sa newsroom. Ay, siya tulungan ni Ori. Sabi ko, kasi matuto ka.
You know who had the first newsroom? Computer, the newsroom. Secretary ni Larry Nam. What was her name? Aida. She had the first computer. Yes, Aida Espiritu had the first computer in the entire newsroom. Kasi hindi pa naman tayo computerized dun sa news. Ano tayo, hard copy pa tayo.
Si Monchet na?
Oh, si Monchet was there. Yeah.
Si Olive. Olive Villaforte.
Olive and Monchet were part of the original public affairs.
At saka mas dramatic yung editing ng script kasi pinupunit ni Becky Cabral na ganyan. Tapos iiklian niya, ayan ang basahin mo. Pupunitin niya yung script kasi ganyan kahaba. Pupunitin niya. Yan ang editing.
Rip and read.
Si Becky noon na mahilig ba manigaw din noon eh.
Dick
Van! Di ba? Pag nagkamali sa editing.
Dick Van, editor yun. Video editor.
Ngayon pa si Dick Van?
Sa GMA7.
Ngayon?
Anyway, alam mo, pag nagtawag yun ng transmitter nga, ibabagsak Sabi nga natin, pinag-uusapan natin, ilan ba talaga naging total number ng employees ng ABS-CBN? Libo-libo. Kaya hindi pwede lahat mag-photo op,
Employees of ABS-CBN?
Hindi mauubos.
Hirap na makikitahin talaga lahat.
Total?
In just
Since
one
the beginning.
day.
Since the beginning.
Yun din ang ina-explain ko sa iba kasi siyempre maraming may konting, alam mo na, sabi nila, ay ba't wala si ganito, ba't wala ako, ba't wala dyan, si ganyan. Siyempre hindi naman maiimbita lahat. I mean, ang dami nating
Dami.
Para kung bibilangin mga ilang tao ang dumaan sa ABS-CBN. Ang sabi nga ni Jim Magnoon, alam mo, Chari, may friend ako, sabi Dojo.
No.
Ang ABS...
Parang we were talking to engineers from Hong Kong, Chinese engineers from Hong Kong, na nag-i-install na equipment sa lahat ng network. No? So exposed sila sa 7, sa 5, sa lahat ng stasyon. And sabi nila sa akin one day, ABS-CBN is like a Shaolin temple. Because everybody trained in ABS-CBN and now they're everywhere. Which is true because sila Philip Yalom were the first batch who transferred
Ronnie
to
Mastrini.
GMA and transformed GMA kaya naging successful. Channel 5 is populated by sila Patrick Paez, sila
Everybody
Cruz,
And Lingao, di ba? Nandun sa 5. Mga gano'n, di ba?
Liga Escudero, GMA 7.
Yes.
Ang hindi lang pumunta sa ABS, si Jessica Soho. Si Jessica Soho lang ata hindi.
Nung tinayo namin sa CNN Philippines, I had ABS-CBN guys with me. Pal Marquez,
Ferdy Aboga,
Joel Saracho. Shaolin Temple.
Yeah. Shaolin.
The old building is to be parang also a symbol of the changing landscape, no? Changing of the guards. Wala na yung mundo natin as we know it. No, those are good memories and those are good times. They symbolize good habits as well.
Yeah.
Because journalism back then is not like journalism today. A lot of people try to be journalists today. Ang daming umaaway sa atin na mga journalist daw sila. But that's for another episode. That's the next episode. Pero for me, it was the spirit of ABS-CBN, the passion, not only the news, because tayo sa news, we were go-getters. We were frontline. We were special forces. Everyone in the news. Pero it was the entire ABS-CBN. So seeing ABS-CBN, the building and the tower being torn down, just like tearing down a part of us. But it was good.
Yeah.
And ako lang, ang hope ko is that the values and the principles and the ethics that we stood by before, even if other people don't believe that we had those, are still followed by the new generation of journalists to come. Ako yun lang. Para hindi man sayang, di ba?
We'll talk about that in the next episode, how
content creators
can be journalists, or can they be
what is a content creator and what is a journalist? What's the difference? Because one is not the other.
Yep.
Di ba sila Cheche Lazaro were also part of ABS?
Yeah, of course.
Yes.
Tina Palma, di ba? Ang dami, di ba? Naging ABS, di ba?
Probe started in ABS.
Kasama niya sila Tony.
In fact, Danny, Cheche was the one who covered the first state visits of Cory Aquino to Indonesia and Malaysia. Bago pumunta si Cory sa US, nag-Asia trip muna siya. And it was the group of Cheche that covered that kasi at that time, I think, hindi pa masyadong buo ang news team. Nasa preparation pa lang, nasa planning pa lang. So talagang din siya. Yes. Tapos ang malaki niyang biyahe, yung Amerika. Remember, Cory in America. That was a really big event. She spoke before Congress. Binigyan niya ng Cory Prize.
She even wore a Cory lapel, diba?
Yeah.
Yes. So many memories. So much a part of our lives, diba? So ako nga naalala ko pa yung tower na yan when I first walked from the bus to ABS-CBN. We had to walk toward that back gate, yung side gate ng Mother Ignacia, because we couldn't enter through the front building. And then the tower was orange, and I was so parang tuwan-tuwa ako. Oh my God, I'm gonna be part of this company, this company that has so many stars, that has so many legends. Ganun ang tingin ko. And then ang alam ko, naalala ko, hindi pa kami nakapasok agad dun sa building. Sa Sercon pa kami nagsimula kasi andun yung mga typewriters for the newsroom. Hindi pa nalilipat doon sa talagang office na naka-assign sa news. And so when I saw the July 9 event, when there was a drone shot of the tower and the people, and Gabby was there, and all the young faces, no? Ang naisip ko, I can't believe I was there. And hanggang ngayon, hindi ako nagpo-post ng anything. I cannot go to a photo shoot yet at this time. Maybe there will be a time for me to do that. But ang naalala ko kasi the last day that tower transmitted our signal to all of the Philippines. And that was May 5 of 2020. Kaya masasabi ko, maybe that would be my most memorable, my most unforgettable, and also the most traumatic coverage, because we were covering and doing a story about ourselves, about the shutdown of our broadcast operations that was part of all our lives, no? For the better part of, I don't know, our adulthood. So, andun yung pakiramdam na bittersweet. But, sabi nga ni Jing, the spirit lives on, the values remain with us, and it's not the end, no? Maybe the building will be gone, but ewan ko, there is a power in us that somehow nakuha natin sa ilang dekadang pagsasama natin sa ABS, di ba? Don't you wonder, kahit na yung mga taong matagal nang umalis, some of them left under not normal circumstances, some left na hindi masaya, na galit, may galit. Pero ngayon, ganito nangyayari, parang lahat united, lahat gustong bumalik, lahat gustong bumisita uli, to have one last tour, to have one last picture, to have one last moment with each other and relive those times when ABS-CBN stood tall and stood proud and stood for all that we are and that all that we will be, kahit ano pa mangyari. So yun ang memorable coverage ko siguro.
Okay. Well, I said my piece before Jing, no? So that leaves Ces, Henry, Danny, and Chari. Kasi sabi ng director-producer natin si Carrie Jose, who's also ABS-CBN.
Oh yeah, Carrie.
Wrap up na daw tayo. So, Ces, let's start with you.
For me, you know, of course, I began my most successful or memorable coverages are with ABS-CBN. But even if the tower will be gone, the friendships remain. My friendships with you guys and with other colleagues in ABS-CBN. And I'm always thankful for that. Na kahit magkakahiwalay na tayo sa iba-ibang networks, magkakalaban man, the friendship remain.
Danny?
Well, sa akin, syempre, very memorable. At saka, I feel, di ba, yung, I'm touched na pag nawawala na yung mismong tower. Kasi somehow ABS gave me a big chance talaga in terms of not only here, covering it in the Philippines, pero yung the first time na ikaw yung nag-organize ng News Bureau outside the Philippines, di ba? Foreign News Bureau. Tapos nasundan na ni Jing Reyes sa North America, pero it was all Middle East muna. Tapos eventually Europe, and then dumating pa for a while si Gigi Grande, nag-handle ng Australia, di ba? So, ibig sabihin, nandoon yung gusto talaga ni Kapitan na bridges on there na hindi, wherever the Filipinos are, nandoon tayo. So, we were able to produce mga local, balitang Middle East, balitang Europe. So, somehow, ikaw yung, parang feeling ko, kahit wala ako, nandun na yung setup, may mga reporters na tayo na mga kung saan malaking concentration ng Filipinos abroad, merong reporter na kukover kahit wala ka na. Ibig sabihin, yun ang legacy na gusto ko talagang somehow nandyan, kahit sila Miranda de Quiros. Sir, okay na, meron tayong reporter sa Rome, meron tayong ganito. O may malaking nangyayari. So yun, isa yun sa mga talagang natouch ako. Tsaka ako yung una talagang nagagalit doon nung nawala, na-deny tayo ng franchise. Kasi somehow, na-feel ko na kasi we had the best of time TFC, di ba Jing? Di ba yung TFC talaga very supportive sa mga news bureau? Kaya sabi ko, ba't gano'n? Parang ang dami naman na ibigay in terms of public service sa ABS. Pero we were denied the franchise. Yun lang, nakakaano lang. Sana nga mag-continue pa rin yung principles, yung sinasabi nyo nga na somehow that the good people will remain, although kahit magkakahiwalay na tayo, pero nandoon pa rin yung, katulad lang, nung Friday, nandoon yung mga dating kasama, sila Anthony Taberna sa DCMM, somehow, parang feeling pa rin nila talagang it's part of their lives, talagang part ng DCMM, Teleradio, it's also ABS-CBN.
Henry?
Yun nga, napakalaking bahagi ng ating buhay sa ABS, memories, doon din tayo somehow nakilala, nakapagbalita, naging bahagi ng kasaysayan. Pero hindi ko rin maalis sa isip ko hanggang ngayon, tinatanong ko pa rin bakit nagkaganito? Bakit nangyari ito? Hindi ba kagagawa nito ng
diretsuhin mo na.
Diyos may kapal.
Wala na dito.
Ng Diyos may kapal.
Nanggaling sa katotohanan na makapangyarihan na naging leader na somehow at hindi lamang siya, hindi naman niya magagawa ayon kung hindi nakipagkonsyaba yung marami rin na mga mambabatas, at yun ang panahon ng COVID, at yun ang umpisa na rin yun kung bakit naging ganito ang state ng media sa Pilipinas. Maraming natakot dahil pinakamalaking broadcasting company sa buong bansa, hindi lamang sa Asia, at nakakapag-broadcast sa buong mundo, nagawang pasara dahil galit lamang yung leader. So nagkaroon ng chill effect ba, di ba? Sa mga may-ari ng media, at ayan, nagkaganyan yung ating estado ng media. Pero somehow sabi nga, nandiyan na yan, ang nasa atin na lang ay yung memories, yung napakagandang memories, at somehow may mapapagmalaki natin yung legacy na naiwanan natin.
Okay, Terry.
Ako na, nakikita ko last 3 minutes. Hindi ko napapahayag sa inyo yung pagmamahal ko sa inyo. Alam niyo naman, mahal na mahal ko kayo lahat. Mga avocado, mga itlog. Mahal ko kayo dahil nabuhay at lumaki ako. I grew up with all of you guys. Pero, may nakikita pa akong opportunity para sa ABS-CBN, kaya sinasabi kong it will rise again. Do you know that ABS-CBN sits on a treasure trove of archive of history, material that if curated well and produced well, can be a source of information for every Filipino. Kasi nandun tayo the rest of the way. Curate lang sana well. Yun lang. It's an opportunity. Hindi, video. Ang dami kaya natin sa library.
Kasi
dapat,
ba yun?
kung buhay pa tayo, ako, I'll volunteer. Curator? Yes, I'll volunteer. Will you volunteer? Para it should become an archive.
Chari, a lot are not yet digitalized.
Kaya nga, it should be. It's a treasure trove of history. Wala dito ibang source ng materyales as deep as ABS-CBN.
Pero andun yung material.
Andun!
Ready lang to be digitized.
They have to be digitized and curated.
Okay. Okay, that's the episode. Gusto ko magpasalamat sa lahat ng mga kasama namin sa ABS-CBN News. From the beginning to up to now. Salamat sa inyo lahat because everyone made ABS-CBN News what it is. So, salamat sa inyo. The news team will be back next episode. Pag-uusapan namin content creators. Don't forget to hit like, share, and subscribe.
Teka, pwede ba kantahin natin yung ating anthem? 1, 2, 3. ABS-CBN.
Yan ang closing namin. Thank you. The news team. Like, share, subscribe.
Yeah.